YouTube! What is up? Another episode of the Fantasy Football Perspective. I'm your host, Lucas. Welcome to the show. Today we are covering a topic that I've been kind of researching over the last couple weeks, and I am going to try to predict the next top 5 receiver that kind of has finished in either the late teens and 20s the last couple years. I've kind of identified 2 based on trends from last year and kind of just their overall team process. A couple years ago, a lot of the experts picked Chris Godwin to break out, and he did. Last year, they selected Calvin Ridley to break out, and he did. You're not really seeing any, these receivers selected this year. So I want to pick a couple that I think could go from, 20 to 30, 15 to 20, all the way down to top 5 or top 3. Because there are maybe 2 that has the potential based on kind of how they finished, what trends was going. If you haven't liked or subscribed yet, please do. Keep that channel growing. Hope you all had a great week. Hit that intro. Welcome back. Let's dig into this video. As I previously said, I'm going to try to predict who the next, 20 to 30 ranked receiver for 2020 is going to be a top 5 receiver for 2021. Here's the deal, kind of the criteria that I've seen when I'm reviewing these stats. So let's go back. We're going to start reviewing Chris Godwin and kind of where all this came from. So let's look at his rankings before. Rookie, standard rookie year. A lot of people don't shine in their rookie season. He creeps up to a wide receiver 3 in 2028. He started 2018, excuse me. He scored 185 points. He was 29th in PPR, 95 targets, 59 receptions, 842 yards, 7 touchdowns. Pretty high touchdown receptions. Let's actually dig into that 2018 season. These are the trends that you start to see in these kind of breakout receivers going into year 3. I think going into year 3 is that special golden year where these guys really turn it on and start to shine a little bit. So we see around 50%, 72%, snap percentages all over the place, all the way down to under 50%. And then randomly, the last 5 games of the season, it just shoots up. 80%, 85%, 80%, 77. Look at these targets. 6, 10, 3, not great, obviously. 6, 9. They start shooting up. This percentage starts shooting up. And you start to see a more balanced approach in their offense. And Chris Godwin starts seeing these carries. So going into the 2020 or 2019 season, all these experts on YouTube were saying, draft Chris Godwin. He's going to be a great receiver for you. It's good value. He was going in the 4th and 5th round even. And if you listened, it capitalized. He turned that into this. 14, 26, 41. Look at the snap percentage. Playing dang near every snap. 89, 90. Look at those numbers. He turned that in. He capitalized for a 2nd overall PPR, and you got him in the 5th, 4th, sometimes 5th round. Insane. Then we move on to the next guy they told you to draft. This was going after the 2019 season, going into 2020. So we look back at Calvin Ridley. 2nd year, you start seeing this. Snap percentages all over the place, dip down to even 59% at Arizona. Then you look at these last couple, 89, 80, 85, 94. I think he got injured in this Carolina game and had a good time because he didn't play the last couple. But look at these snap percentages, these last 5 games that he actually played the whole game. We're getting up 80 to almost 100% sometimes. And the targets alone, 10, 14, 8, scoring touchdowns. What's he do? Going to 2020, he had a heck of a year. 33, 29. 26, 32. He cashed that in for a 5th ranked PPR season. You got him in the 4th, late 3rd, 4th round. You're getting the 5th best receiver. I mean, if you went 2 running backs and got Calvin Ridley as your wide receiver 1, you were sitting pretty. Now, how do we take kind of these trends and kind of fix or kind of develop who we think is going to be the next this big burst receiver? The first one is not so obvious. I'm kind of targeting these year 3 players going into the 3rd year. They kind of showed potential, targets, volume, wide receiver 1 on their own team, kind of transitioning into that. And this is what we see. The first I want to start with Deontay Johnson. People might say, what? Deontay Johnson. He was 21 ranked in PPR with 144 targets. 144 targets. Here's the issue. 6.41 yards per target. I don't know if you guys watched the Steelers last year, but they literally used their passing game as their run game. They had no threat of a run game, so they were doing all these short passes, screen passes over and over and over again. And these receivers were catching the ball, 5-6 yards off their line of scrimmage. No deep, nothing deep. Claypool a little bit, but nothing crazy. In the offseason, they draft Najee Harris. Their offensive line still not great, but not bad. Can they start getting that run game going, having these receivers, kind of running deeper routes? And if he keeps this target share, watch out. This is statistically one of the least efficient years ever. If I told you at the beginning of the year that Deontay Johnson's 144 targets and finished 21st in PPR, you'd be like, no way. This is up there, I think 6th on the year in targets and finished 21st. That is an outlier in my opinion. I think he's going to turn this around, have a more efficient year. And let me break it down why I think that. Let's break it down game by game. You see all this, anything in the red, he got hurt in. Those are the games he got hurt in. The other games, he's always over 75%, sometimes seeing 15, 16 targets. He's a target monster. He did have a bad case of the dropsies a couple times. But if this trend continues, I know I showed you these guys and Calvin Ridley in year 2. He wasn't seeing that kind of targets really. He had 1 game with 14 targets. I show you Chris Godwin in year 2. He was not seeing this kind of targets. Maybe towards the end he started getting 10. You could argue that Deontay Johnson's ahead of schedule compared to those two. If this keeps trending in an upward direction, watch out for Deontay Johnson. You can get him in the 5th round. That's a steal, man. I like him more in redraft leagues just because Ben Roethlisberger, his future's unknown. They said he had elbow surgery, so who knows if he's ever going to get that true cannon back. But in a 1-year league where they should have some sort of a running game to open up a deeper passing game, I think Deontay Johnson's a steal in the 5th round. The last one might surprise you in the fact that he's not higher, or you might already think he is up in that upper echelon receivers, and it's Terry McLaurin. Let me explain before I go. I am purely basing this off of his PPR rankings for the last 2 years. He was 20th and 29th. He's never broken the 20th ranked PPR kind of standard that I'm kind of setting for who I think is going to be potential. Jump from the 20 or plus down to the 5 or plus or minus, top 5. The problem with Terry McLaurin, he does have a higher yards per target than Deontay, is his touchdowns haven't been there. He's only scored 4 touchdowns. So why do I think this is trending in the right direction? Let's go back to his rookie season where he kind of came on the scene. He had some good games, high upside, already getting a snap percentage, but he was the only weapon in town. So defenses started, double teaming Terry McLaurin as a rookie. We see that kind of go into the second season too. He's still playing a huge snap percentage. This year's going to be different. And let me tell you why. Logan Thomas developed, so the defense is going to have to start to account for him. They get Curtis Samuel, the running back. Wow, I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. Let me hold on. The running back who? Geez, OP. Antonio Gibson has developed to even a round 2 running back. They have all these new weapons, so there's not going to be any more double coverage for Terry McLaurin. Not to mention, he has a gunslinger of a quarterback that's going to give Terry McLaurin at least a chance on some of those deep balls that maybe he didn't get those chances when they were throwing those safe dink down passes all the time. Terry McLaurin can honestly explode. Keep these targets the same, become more efficient. Terry McLaurin, if you looked at the end of the year, could be a top 5 receiver, and it would be no surprise to anyone. If I'm picking between these two, Deontay and Terry McLaurin in redraft, I would go Deontay just because draft position, get him in the 5th compared to Terry McLaurin in the 3rd. But higher likelihood of getting to that top 5, you got to go Terry McLaurin. Better situation overall. He's still going to be that alpha in the offense. He doesn't have that competition Deontay has with Claypool and Juju. But I just really like his situation right there. Ryan Fitzpatrick can sling that ball. Will take some chances on some deep threats that maybe Terry McLaurin hasn't had in that past. You can just truly see his snap percentage, his volume share is just so crazy. Wouldn't be a surprise if you've seen him in the top 5. Target these guys. 3rd, 5th round. Remember what I said. We picked those RBs in the first 2 rounds. And these are the type of guys that you want to target rounds 3 through 5 that has a league-winning upside, get you in that top 5 wide receiver rankings. And next thing you know, you might have 2 of the best running backs, 2 of the best receivers. Maybe you picked up a decent tight end in the 4th round, and you're sitting really pretty in that fantasy football championship at the end of the year. If you haven't liked or subscribed, please do. Again, thanks for the support so far. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Have a good night. Happy Thursday. Enjoy the weekend. New video may be coming out Sunday, Monday. We'll see. Peace. Enjoy those preseason games too, baby.